That's no way to speak to your father. Yo, police. Police.
Police, hands up, hands up.
I didn't do anything. Where's my son?
Son, you look, you're 80. Oh, kid, you see, this man has Alzheimer's.
What's Alzheimer's?
Alzheimer's? What's that?
Well, kid, Alzheimer's is a neurodegenerative disease which kills brain cells and makes you forget things over time. You see, kid, this man seems to be in the late stages of Alzheimer's.
I thought I was in the gritty.
Hell, man. Let me take you to the hospital. Let me take you
No.
back.
Treehouse. Bubble guppies.
Yeah,
take your kids.
bubble guppies.
Where are you taking me?
So you see, Alzheimer's is no joke.
To carry children of our own, we are still kids.
Shut up, Jamin. You didn't even show for the recording. Hi, I'm Matthew. Today I'll be talking about the causes of Alzheimer's and preventive measures for it. You know, the disease from Planet 8 movies? Peak-ass trilogy.
Hey, I'm Omar, the one who knocks.
Hey, I'm Tenzin. Martin Luther King was assassinated by the CIA. Alzheimer's!
The nervous system is a system that allows you to control your body. Alzheimer's system disease affects this nervous system by slowly killing your neurons over time with plaques tangles. In the cell membrane of neuron, there is a molecule called amyloid. Basically a protein, one end in the cell and one end is out of the cell. AB helps repair and grow neurons, just like regular protein, it's broken down and recycled.
It is normally broken down using alpha male secretase and gamma secretase, and when cut using those, the cut off peptide is soluble. The issue is when a different enzyme is used, beta secretase. And if beta secretase helps alpha male secretase cut off the peptide outside the cell, the remaining area isn't soluble, and much like the average beta male, they stick together. And when many of these stick together, they create a little like monomer outside the cell called amyloid plaques. And these amyloid plaques can get in between neurons and could disrupt signaling. And the disruption could greatly impact brain function like memory and all that. They could also start an immune response to cause inflammation that damages the surrounding neuron. The understanding is not clear, but people do believe that the beta amyloid plaques outside the neuron initiates pathways into the neuron to activate the enzyme kinase, which attaches phosphate groups to the microtubules, and because of this, the tau protein stops supporting the microtubes and clumps up with other tau proteins and gets tangled. These are called neurofibrillary tangles. Microtubules that have this are no longer functional and can't signal well, and sometimes undergo apoptosis, which is just controlled cell death. But how does Alzheimer's affect the brain physically?
But how do you know you have symptoms? See, Alzheimer's can be split up into 4 actions. Preclinical, mild symptoms called early stage, moderate and severe, sometimes called late stage.
In the preclinical stage, although you won't have any symptoms, if you were to do a brain biopsy, you can see the plaques and tangles start to form. In mild, you'll suffer from short-term memory loss, like forgetting what you had for breakfast, or like, short-term stuff, and a mood and personality switch. If you have moderate Alzheimer's, then you can experience increased confusion and memory loss, such as forgetting events or personal history, like what your wife's name is or something, as well as loss of motor skills and language. Severe Alzheimer's is when the person loses complete ability to communicate, and the body starts to physically break down, like they forget to eat, they forget to control their bladder, and finally, at the very end, you have a high chance of dying from an infection in the brain, like pneumonia. Terrible things.
Now, how do you diagnose someone with Alzheimer's? Well, the only way you can definitively prove that someone has Alzheimer's is through a brain biopsy, as we mentioned earlier, but people have found ways to make it easier to diagnose someone. They use 2 criteria, which is the DSM-5 and the NIAAA.
The DSM is used for practical use and has 8 main domains. For AD, memory, language, perceptual skills, attention, motor skills, and orientation. If one of these domains is affecting your daily life, you could get diagnosed with AD. One of these domains is affecting your daily life, you could get diagnosed with AD. There are 2 levels of diagnosis in these criteria, possible and probable. Probable is when there is very clear signs of thinking and memory problems. Possible is when someone inhibits symptoms, but they are not as clear as might be caused by other problems.
When doctors think someone might have Alzheimer's disease, they do tests to check how well their brain is working. They use tests like the MMSE or the MOCA to see if there are any problems with memory or thinking. But these tests aren't perfect because they might not catch small problems, and sometimes they can be affected by things like language or not paying attention, right? So doctors also talk to the person's family to get more information about their daily life and any changes they've noticed. This is important because sometimes people with Alzheimer's don't really realize they're having a problem. Doctors can also do other tests to make sure they're not missing anything else that could be causing memory or thinking problems. They might do blood tests to check for things like the thyroid problems or vitamin levels, and they might also do brain scans to look for other issues in the brain.
There isn't a known specific cause of Alzheimer's. It's why the disease is such a mystery, as shown countless times throughout history and even through film franchises such as Planet of the Apes. Peak movie series, by the way. It's also the reason why we all decided to choose this as a group, because we thought this aspect of the disease made it stand out compared to all the other diseases. And because it's relevant to the Planet of the Apes movie. Peak movie, come on. Anyways, scientists believe it's probably a combination of age-related changes. It is also thought to be caused by the abnormal buildup of proteins in and around the brain cells. Other primary causes are genetic factors such as family history and genetics. Certain genes increase the risk. Age is another factor that increases the risk significantly, that ends up causing it sometimes, particularly people aged 65 and up. Then there's lifestyle and health conditions and brain health and environmental factors. Wait, what's that? Oh, right, I almost forgot. The most important part, the APOE-E4, the apolipoprotein E, or APOE, is a gene that has a specific variant known as APOE4. This gene produces a protein that aids in the blood's transportation of lipids and cholesterol. This gene is present in 3 common forms: APOE-E2, APOE-E3, APOE-E4. Because APOE-E4 is linked to an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease, it is important. An elevated risk is associated with inheriting 1 copy of APOE-E4 from a parent, while an even higher risk is associated with 1 from each parent. However, APOE-E4 just indicates a person increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. In comparison to people with other gene versions, it does not guarantee Alzheimer's though. Although as much of a problem Alzheimer's is, there is a way to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's. You can prevent high blood pressure from happening, manage blood sugar, maintain a healthy weight, be physically active, you should drop bad habits, obviously, stuff like smoking and excessive drinking, and getting enough sleep.
Yo, Matthew, you've been yapping for too long. Now it's my turn. Here are one of the treatment options for donepezil. Donepezil pill is used to treat dementia brain disorder that affects the ability to remember, think clearly, communicate, and perform daily activities, and may cause changes in mood and personality. In people who have Alzheimer's disease, AD, a brain disease that slowly destroys the memory and ability to think, learn, communicate, and handle daily activities. Donepezil is in a class of medications called cholinesterase inhibitors and improves mental process, such as memory, attention, the ability to interact with others, speak, think clearly, and perform normal daily activities by increasing the amount of certain natural occurring substance in the brain. Donepezil may have the ability to think and remember. Slow loss of these ability in people who have AD. Donepezil will not cure AD or prevent the loss of mental abilities at some time in the future.